What's up, guys?
How you doing?
Great.
David Moore, Dallas Morning News. We ask you so much about CD, and I'm sure we'll get to him as well, but just, I think this is 4 or 5 straight games now that Brandon Cooks has found the end zone, and just talk about the niche he has found in this offense, playing off of, obviously, that connection with Lamb.
Well, you're not going to start talking about Brandon without talking about his work ethic. Actually, Bront and I were talking about that walking up the stairs, just the modeling that he does for his preparation. Like if you could follow him around, not even in the building, but when he's not here, what he's doing on a Monday, a Tuesday, a Wednesday, the body work that he does. But the cool thing about him is he doesn't do it by himself. He brings guys along. You know, we always talk about Tolbert, but Jalen Brooks, tight ends. And I just think that, again, here's a guy that understands the value of the relationship with the quarterback, the communication with the quarterback. Watch him after any drive, watch him after any series in practice. He's over there with Dak. Hey, what'd you think about this? What'd you think about that? That's what young players don't realize. If you see the game, and they don't always agree, but if you see the game the same way that the quarterback does, guess what? In moments like that, he's going to find you. So, you know, that's one of our favorite plays from yesterday was, you know, all-out blitz, got to the check. Dak did a great job of organizing it. Brandon knew where to get to. He had to throw it early. Had a free color in the B gap, which he handled. But the timing and the throw and the way he laid it out there shows you those guys are what? On the same page.
Brian Todd Archer with ESPN. Your thoughts on the committee approach you guys had at running back? Was that kind of the script you want to follow, or is it, you know, hey, a hot hand, maybe ride with one guy more than the other?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, Todd really, you know, we wish we would have got more attempts to run the football. Obviously, we struggled a little bit on third down in the second half. But, yeah, I think, you know, we're going to go into game plans knowing we're going to be a committee. We're going to get those guys going. I think that the total number of plays was almost balanced. And, again, we're not just a team that wants to feature the running backs running the football. We ask them to do a ton in pass protection. We ask them to get involved in the passing game. You saw us use Zeke on the screen. That was just the flow of the game. It could have been Rico. It could have been Deuce. It could have been whoever's in there. The cool thing is when you've got players like we have that all have talent, they're all prepared, they're all smart, they've got great instincts, it really doesn't matter. So for Mike calling the plays, he doesn't have to worry about which back's in the game. And I really think that we started controlling the line of scrimmage really, really well late in the game. We just unfortunately weren't able to sustain drives to keep, you know, pounding the football. We had back-to-back runs. One was Rico to the right, and then we came back the very next play out of big personnel groupings. And it was awesome to see our guys, both the offensive line but also the tight ends, really get up underneath those guys with their pads and move them and create a running lane for Rico.
Speaking of tight ends with Jake and his status, how do you replace him if he can't go this week?
Well, hopefully it's good news. It sounds like it's going to be good news. But, again, I thought Scooney and Brev both, you know, stepped up. We still kept using multiple personnel groupings. You know, Brevin's a guy that his play style jumps off the film. If you watch him finish, if you watch him cover down, you know, this guy loves the physical nature of football. There was a route, we actually threw a quick slant to CD on the right, but he was running a little front side stick route, and the guy kind of squatted on him, and you see him kind of put his pads down and disengage and knock the guy off. He loves that, and you guys see the way we're using Hunter Lepke. I mean, Hunter Lepke does not get enough credit for what he does for our offense. This guy, again, I think is a steal. We were able to get him where we got him. The short yardage play that we had, you know, where we ran the little quick toss sweep to the right, that was one of those plays that we had it up in 2 different personnel groupings, and you know, Mike wanted to go with that one with Hunter, and he hadn't even gotten a full speed rep of that all week, and he just goes out there and does it right. And there's so much value in that. I mean, because we do want to be multiple, and we've got plays that we want to carry out of different personnel groupings. So if you do it one way in the first quarter, maybe in the third quarter you do it some way different, and that is so invaluable to coaches, that confidence to be able to call a play like that in that situation, knowing that this guy's going to make it right. And again, one of the more physical players we have, talking about Hunter. I mean, this guy, he is physical. He loves contact. He's a low leverage player. And it's not just the initial strike, it's the ability to sustain and stay low with leverage and strain and knock people back.
Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. Tyler Guyton, how did he look as rookie left tackle? Had a big challenge in front of him yesterday.
Yeah, I'd say he competed his ass off against a really good challenge. I would say, Miles is going to get the edge on a lot of people. But the thing about him I love his competitiveness, man. He would come over, and the guy loves to be coached. He had some really, really good sets with him, playing in the noise and, having to get off on the cadence. Sometimes when he was a little bit late, he would turn his shoulder a little too much and shorten the edge. But overall, I thought as the game flow started going, you saw him begin to become more and more confident. That's a tough job. I mean, playing left tackle in this league, on the road against one of the best edge rushers in the league, I thought overall he did a nice job. And he'll continue to get better, but why? Why is he going to get better? Obviously the athleticism, but the way he wants to be coached, the way he wants to be corrected, the way he competes, it's certainly not too big for him. And somebody will ask, but I'll just jump ahead. I mean, BB, it was really cool talking about, Cooper. If you ask Zach Martin about Cooper just in the huddle, the command that this guy has and the control, he's running the show. And for a rookie, a lot of different looks. You guys all know Jim Schwartz's defense are going to test you with their blitzes and the different things that they do, but this guy didn't check up, and he drove it. And I thought both those guys got some trial by fire, and they both came out playing well.
Hey Brian, Saad Yusuf, The Athletic. We didn't see much of Zeke any of Zeke in preseason and just practices in Oxnard. Did you feel like that he had this much juice? It looked like he was, had a lot of legs yesterday.
Yeah, I think so. I think we were all surprised to see him go over Denzel Ward on the first run. I wasn't really expecting that. But again, yeah, I mean, the guy's got juice. I think I referenced the screen earlier. A little screen to the left in the red zone, and Tyler Smith does a really nice job kind of collecting the backer that was scraping. But Zeke's out in space, and the guy came off the outside receiver, and just the ability to kind of dip and influence the guy and then get to the edge shows it. And then, of course, he's no stranger to the end zone. But, we're running a little inside zone play down inside the 5-yard line, and number 6, Jacques, who's a hell of a player for them, kind of comes to meet him, and there was no question that Zeke was going to get in the end zone. So just that determination in the red zone, ability to run the football. But I would say, yes, that he looked fresh, he looked good. And that's what, hey, guys, when you get a committee going, right, it keeps guys fresh. That's what we've always loved about it historically is, a guy goes for a series or two, then somebody else comes in, they get a chance to catch your breath. And sometimes you learn a lot by watching. You see how the backers are flowing, you see how the safeties are fitting it, and it helps. And Zeke's obviously a veteran, so he can really learn a lot from watching and looking at the tablets that we have on the sidelines.
For you on a personal level, just how did it feel for you to see Dak get the deal done and just the emotions throughout the locker room and how players reacted?
Yeah, it was awesome. Again, he won't say it, but the guy's earned every penny. I mean, he's an unbelievable human being. It won't change him one bit. If anything, it's going to make him more hungry than he's ever been. Again, it was a quick hug, quick embrace between he and I, and then we talked about it a little bit more after the game was over. But happy for all of our guys. Happy for CeeDee. These guys work their butts off. Again, they don't see all the things that these guys put into this. It's not just playing the games where they have fun, the games where they let their personality show. But these meetings get long, and these practices get long, and the work these guys do, and the fact they go out there and fly around and play really a violent game when they get that kind of opportunity to take care of their family for a generation, it's awesome.
Garrett Podell, CBS Sports. Brian, what did you think of just how CeeDee looked? He missed the off-season program, missed training camp in terms of the conditioning. I think Dak said, he noticed CeeDee was out there 4 or 5 plays in a row.
Yeah. Again, we knew he'd be ready. I think the fast start always helps. The throw between him and Dak down their sideline over the top of Denzel Ward was really cool if you see it. He gets a great release. Denzel's trying to stay on top, and CeeDee kind of stacks him, which means keep him inside of an imaginary red line. And Dak puts it outside, and he's got kind of late hands. But I thought overall the plan was good. We were going to play him. We were going to be smart, find opportunities to kind of let him catch his breath a little bit. But I thought the plan was really, really good. But he's a great player. He took care of himself. When he wasn't here, he was definitely training. And I think if anything, it speaks to the relationship, the timing, the rhythm that Dak and he have to go out there and be able to do some of those things. The tight window throw that I was referencing earlier when Brevin was on the backside, I mean, that was a really tight window. Dak just kind of ripped it, and it speaks to their timing and their trust.
Ed Werder, WFAA. Can you describe what's unique about Ferguson's skill set and how valuable that is in this offense? I mean, it seems like Dak uses a tight end a lot more than a lot of quarterbacks.
Yeah, Fergie, really, Ed, he can help us big time, both run and pass. Another guy that I would say is a enforcer, a tough ass, a guy that's going to play violent. He's going to play physical. There was a little jet sweep to CeeDee where he comes off and he arcs and they're blitzing the safety off the edge, and the instincts to let the guy go is amazing because the guy's outside and he crosses his face and he lets him go and he strikes the guy at the next level. It's just violent. And then same thing, we throw a little screen to CeeDee out in space to the left, and he comes out and knocks the hell out of the nickel. He just plays the game the right way. And another guy that, again, being a coach's kid, being around it, having his grandfather, I mean, the guy's been around the football field and the stadium his entire life. I mean, you can't discount what that means for a guy. Like, this guy gets football. He understands football. But body control is unbelievable. Ball skills is unbelievable. He might argue this. He's not the fastest tight end in the league. But again, just the way he plays the game with his body control, his size, his ability to create separation at the top of the route. I mean, he's just a dynamic weapon for us. And Dak trusts him. He trusts him in tight spots. I mean, again, the kid Delpit made a really nice coverage play on the one yesterday where we were trying to get him up our sideline, but Dak trusted him and threw it, and it was incomplete, but it shows you, it speaks to Dak's trust that, hey, I'm just going to put the ball near the guy, throw it to a spot where he can catch it, and more times than not, Fergie will get it done.
Dave Loffmer, 105.3, The Fan. Brian, kind of referencing back to the Zeke play down at the 3 for the touchdown. As you said, they had a guy in the hole. Was that a little bit of an aha moment for you? Like, okay, we've got this now in our repertoire or at our disposal that we can hand the ball in tight and he's going to take care of the open.
Yeah, it was cool for me because, again, I have not been around Zeke as much as everybody else. But, again, I think all of our runners would have made that play. But it was really cool for me, again, 6 started on the line, so we were working to him. He did a hell of a job. He was folding back underneath, and it was he and Zeke one-on-one. And just to see this guy get his pads down low and say, okay, it's me, the goal line's 2 yards from here. It's you and I in the hole, and kind of turn his shoulders a little bit. It reminded me, I'm dating myself, but being around a guy like Marcus Allen, who was, I think, arguably the best goal line runner of all time because he had the ability to kind of run, and for a big guy, Marcus was a big guy, kind of turn his shoulders. And hell, I was just holding the court at the time, watching in awe, probably in high school or college. But it reminded me a little bit of that because he didn't take the guy head on. He knew if I just kind of turn my shoulders slightly, give him less surface to hit, and continue to bring my feet, that I'll get in the end zone. And it was cool for me just because, again, I haven't seen that. I mean, Cowboy fans and you guys have seen that for a long time. I just haven't been around him as much as everybody. But again, I think all of our runners would have made it, and he models it for the younger guys.
Brian, Aaron Hasman's Lone Star Live. CeeDee had the most rushing attempts in the game he's had. Why was that working? And I know you don't want to get too deep into the schematics, but is there some benefit to having the defense thinking about him coming around on that end around there? Yeah,
I mean, when we game plan it, we're always looking for where's the advantage. Where can we get numbers? Where can we get advantages? We always want to get all of our players touches. The best rushing attacks don't just attack right down the middle in the A and the B gaps. They make the defense cover sideline to sideline. And he's obviously an elite runner. When he has the ball in his hands, he's really, really talented. But it was one of those things from a game plan standpoint with the way these guys played with their edge pieces and the way they tried to set some of their fronts with their linebackers and stuff like that. We felt good about trying to get the ball to the perimeter. And when it's working, you kind of keep going back to it. Just like anything, you would adjust if they start taking it away. But we were able to get some touches for him. It helps kind of get him into the flow of the game as well.
David, and then finish up with Nick.
to keep the Zeke theme going.
Yep.
Especially early in his career, and this wasn't unique to him. It's those lead horse backs tend to get better as the game goes along and the more carries they get. Has he reached a stage in his career where limiting his carries, usually game in and game out, is going to serve him better? And if so, how has he embraced that change in his career?
Yeah, he's been great. I think, these guys realize it's a long season. You got 17 games before you even get into the playoffs, and they play a violent position. And again, I'm not being tongue in cheek here. Like, the way we ask our guys to pass protect is another violent action. I mean, you got blitzing linebackers. You're taking color off 3 techniques or leaking off of a guard or a center. We ask them to take shots that people don't even see. Or deliver shots really that people don't see. So he's been awesome. He's a competitor. He wants to go play, and I do think that kind of, like I said earlier, catching your breath a little bit, getting a chance to sit over there and watch and see things unfold, whether it's an outside zone that maybe gets stretched a little bit wide or an inside zone that cuts back behind the nose tackle. You can see those things from the sidelines, and my experience with veteran backs is they actually can use that to their advantage.
Nick Harris, DallasCowboys.com. Second half had a little bit more stalling, over 5 on third down. What was just kind of your evaluation of that?
Yeah, just, again, put ourselves behind the sticks a little bit, but really came down to third down. Had CeeDee running open on a little option route. Ball got tipped by the linebacker. Just not great execution. Again, and we got to look at that and see, kind of where it fell apart. But again, we're obviously way better than that. And we talk pace of operation all the time. Like, when we play fast and we're going up tempo, not even up tempo, like not on the line of scrimmage, but just the way we substitute and get the plays called, we're at our best. It's hard to do that if you don't make a first down. You got to make first down to kind of get the drive going. And so I wouldn't really say it was anything that they did. I just think that we didn't execute very well and need to be better.
And then for you going back to Cleveland, is it still a cool moment for you, or is it just kind of like every other game?
Yeah, no, it really was cool. The dog pound's a little different than what I remember with Municipal Stadium. It's a little bit eerie because I still remember sitting in the end zone of my dad's box and watching the drive unfold. The actual drive itself was going away from us, but then when it went to overtime and Rich Carlos kicked the game-winning field goal, which I still think he missed, but it was literally right at our box. And so that box is not there, but the ghost of the drive was still there for me. But I sent pictures to my family of the dog pound, and it was cool to take a little trip down memory lane. It's cool to see Bernie Kosar. And Cleveland will be a place that our family holds in high regard for a long time.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.